Hi, it's Elizabeth Willits here from Investing in Women, and we are live today on Tuesday. We are live on Facebook and on LinkedIn, and I'm delighted because I'm being joined today by Soul Revival coach Emma Wheeler from Emma Wheeler Fitness. We're going to be talking all about 10 healthy habits that you can adopt to unlock a healthier and happier you for 2022. So we are live today on Facebook and on LinkedIn. Thank you. And as people are logging on, if you can let us know if you can hear us all okay, give us a like or an emoji, that would be really appreciated. But I'm here chatting with Soul Revival coach Emma Wheeler from Emma Wheeler Fitness. And it's a really timely topic, and we're going to be talking all about how you can, all the 10 healthy habits you can adopt during 2022 for a healthier, happier you. So thank you, Emma, for joining us today. Before we get started on habits that we should all be adopting, do you want to give people a bit of an introduction to you and your business?
Yes, I will. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to join you. As I say, it seems like ages ago. Yes, so I am a soul revival coach. I have evolved as time's gone on. I originally started as a personal trainer and then moved to a health and wellbeing coach. And actually, because of events that happened in my family last year, I did a lot of soul searching and understanding what was important to me. And that's why I then have labeled myself a soul revival coach, because what I do is I help people, aspirational mums, I should say, but it isn't just mums, because I think everybody should have the same unique opportunities. But so I help aspirational people to really create healthy mindsets and habits to nourish the soul and to unlock their full potential, basically. It's such a rewarding job, because it's just amazing to see people evolve into not different people. That's not right, because the person that you are is the person you need to be. There's no one who can do it better than you. But what we can do is change some of those mindsets and some of those fears and unlock those beliefs and those blocks that are stopping us from getting where we want to be. And we can, and I apply that to lots of areas of their life. Sometimes it's building a business. Sometimes it's just increasing in confidence. Sometimes it's to do with parenting. So it's not a one size fits all. I help people in many different areas of their life. And actually, it's interesting, because when you're trying to, say you are trying to build a business, for instance, often we need to improve other areas of our life as well, because everything is connected.
Absolutely.
There's a connection to everything in your life.
Absolutely. So, I'm so excited. I'm really excited this session, because I'm sure, I mean, I'm probably like a lot of people. I've definitely feel I've put on weight during lockdown, and then Christmas, and sluggish and not feeling quite like myself. So I'm really excited to hear some tips that hopefully we can just fit into our lives and all start feeling a bit better, a bit more like ourselves. So yes, I don't know if you've got your tips and you want to go into them, and then if people have any questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got I've got 10 tips that probably are all the things that I do, I would say. And so they might not fit everybody. And I think the important thing is, before I go into talk about the tips, is that nothing is you're creating a routine in your week that is somebody once said is baggy enough to live in. So if you don't manage to do some of the things, don't then beat yourself up about the fact that you haven't done some of these habits, because actually all you then do is make yourself feel guilty, and that isn't helping in any way, shape or form. So I think that's the important thing to remember, is that don't beat yourself up if you don't do some of these things. Somebody once said a routine baggy enough to live in, and I thought, oh, I love that. That's I can't remember who it was, but it was a lovely lady I met talking, and she said that. So the first thing I've talked about is movement. Movement is the best medicine. If you can do something every day even if it's only, you know, just having a 10-minute stretch at home, or walking the dog, getting out in nature, going to a run, rather, doing a HIIT session. Movement is definitely the best medicine. And when we do, certainly when we get out in nature, if you're going for a walk or for a run, you actually open up opportunities to listen to your intuition. So often we think that the doing is going to bring us results. And actually that isn't necessarily the case. So one of my things definitely is movement is the best medicine. If you can do something every day, if you're computer based and you're perpetually sort of hunched over, maybe pop your alarm on, you know, maybe every hour or every hour and a half, and get up and walk around, go and look outside, go and ground yourself outside, just, you know, even if it's a couple of minutes, but it's a good reminder to get yourself moving. Obviously there's guidelines about how much we should be moving a day.
There's like the 10,000 steps. What do you think of the 10,000 steps a day? Is that something realistic?
It's amazing how realistic it can be when you think 10,000 steps a day. Wow. But if you do incorporate some sort of moving in that, and you make sure that perhaps if there's an option of a lift or the stairs, you take the stairs. If there's an option of going in the car or walking, you walk. It's amazing how you can incorporate those into your life. They're great ways to get you moving, for sure. And walking is so underrated. It's fantastic for you, and very gentle on the joints. So yeah, they're brilliant. They're brilliant. There's brilliant apps, and obviously different types of watches and things you can get to help you to move. But yeah, I mean, if it's going to get you moving, then absolutely use your watch, for sure. It doesn't have to be walking, like I say, even just stretching and just connecting with the body, stretching the body in the morning, is still movement. So it doesn't need to be the steps, but they're great. They're great encouragements, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. So any type of movement. Oh, sorry, my phone's going off.
That's all right.
Sorry.
It's all right.
I'm turning it off now. I apologise.
Don't worry, it's fine. My second tip was gratitude. This has been an absolute game changer for me. So often we focus on the lack and what we don't have. And when we focus on the lack, we actually get more of it. We're sending out to the universe with signals. Actually, this is what we want more of. So, you know, if you're focusing on, maybe you're building a business and you're focusing on not having enough clients, what do you think you're going to get more of? Or if you're trying to lose weight and you're thinking about being, you know, I'm overweight, I'm fat, or I'm really unfit, whatever the words that you tend to use, what do you think you get more of? So it's really important. I start my day every morning, which I introduced last year, with a gratitude diary. There's you can look online, there's different diaries you can get, or you can just use a journal. But get up in the morning and write what you are grateful for every day, because it's amazing how lucky we actually are. And maybe, you know, you are unfit at the moment, but actually I've got a body that I can change that with, and I am actually fit and healthy to change it. So there's always a flip. There's always an opposite of what you're thinking.
I love that.
At the end,
that's brilliant. That's such good way of just thinking things. And yeah, I think it will encourage people, that what would encourage me to take action, thinking, well, I'm grateful, I've got this, I can change whatever, XYZ.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, absolutely. Rather than thinking about, oh, what have we got? You know, at the moment it's what we haven't got. Rather, at the moment it's hard because you get up in the morning and it's dark. But actually, the beauty of that is, before you know it, the sun is coming up and you're seeing that sunrise. Whereas actually in June and July you would have missed that, because it's light by the time you get up, unless you get up at 4 o'clock. And then set your intentions for the day, and at the end of the day, then I always write down what went well, what was good. And it can be simple things, like I wake up in the morning and there's a field across from my bedroom, and I'll see 5 or 6 pheasants in the field. You know, how lucky am I to wake up and see that? So so gratitude makes a massive difference to our well-being. Huge difference. When I talk about gratitude as well, if you can steer away from news, from newspapers, because they are not great for being thankful for things.
No, they're not. They love that. They love bad news, and actually, it sort of brings it right into your life. You know, even if it's very remote, but it's sort of, I read something, and I'm like, oh God, I feel awful and whatever.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Miles away.
And I don't mean to be ignorant about what's going on in the world, but actually, if you know you're prone to maybe a bit of fear, a bit of anxiety, depression, avoid those things, because they aren't going to do you any. They're not going to do you any favors. So that's a little tip that I've just added in there. My third thing is, are you proactive or reactive? Phones, iPads, computers. Last year, I brought this into, again, a thing that I brought into my life when I started coaching, is that I don't turn my phone on in the morning till I've been up an hour. So are you proactive or reactive? And again, it's interesting to, you put your phone on and how you just check out what happens in your body language. When first thing in the morning you put your phone on, what happens to your breathing? What happens to the muscles in your neck? What happens to you? Are you tense? Are you relaxed? And I just think it's really important that actually, again, you acknowledge the day, you think about what you're going to be doing today, what your intentions are, without being without being influenced by what's going to come in on your phone. So are you proactive or reactive? Is I think, again, question which one you are. And again, at the end of the day, turn your phone off. Again, I put mine on silent an hour before I go to bed, because there's definitely a correlation between my eyes feeling like they're wide open and I'm stimulated if I'm on my phone. And I think we live in a 24/7 world now. But actually, if somebody messaged me, they're not necessarily going to want to reply now. They've just done it because that's when they think about it.
Yeah, or it's convenient. That was their convenient time.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So phones again help. Good healthy habit. Food, nourishing food, really important to your body is a temple, and it's really important that we feed our body nourishing food that's going to help us throughout the day. So making sure that you have some protein in the morning. So many people lack protein, especially at breakfast, but we should have some protein breakfast, lunch and dinner. Often the go-to breakfasts are jam on toast, which is all carbs, or cereals. So try and have maybe an egg on toast, or some homemade granola with some yogurt, because protein keeps you fuller for longer. So you won't have those dips when you've loaded on sugar, and then you're loaded on carbs rather, and then you have those sugar dips. And again, for lunch, make sure you're eating a varied diet. You've got some protein, you've got some good fats, and you've got some carbs in your diet. And sometimes, again, it's worth sometimes doing a food diary, just seeing what your triggers are, because sometimes we do have trigger foods that actually will give us an energy boost. Maybe you're doing a talk like I am, and you know that there's a food that gives you a good feeling, or there's a food that makes you feel stressed. So pay attention to your body, because everybody's body is unique and responds to things in different ways.
Brilliant. We've had a point here. Someone on LinkedIn said, fantastic point, that media can often heighten anxiety. We need to be much more conscious of what may trigger our emotions. These conversations are so important. Fantastic job. So thank you.
No, that's okay. Yeah. I don't mean to diss media at all. As I say, going back to that, but if they do heighten anxiety, that person is absolutely right. They don't help to release the endorphins to make us feel happy.
No, I'm really guilty for that. I'm guilty. I'll see a headline and I know it's going to trigger me, but you know, you get the headlines that come on your phone, and I'll click into it, and I'll be like, why did I do that? And then
yeah,
it's in your mind all day, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, and then you have to question, why have you clicked onto that? Is there that feeling of missing out? Is there that feeling of, you know, I need to know what's going on, or, you know, why have you clicked, or is it you want to see what the comments are? You know, sometimes it, you know,
Yeah,
again,
and sometimes that's another thing I'm bad for. I just really read the comments on things.
Yeah. I think we're all guilty of that. We're all guilty of that, aren't we? Yeah. Food kind of leads me into sleep as well. There are definitely, and that will be a whole different conversation, but there are definitely foods that make us will help us to sleep better. But also a really good sleep routine is going to help you in intention setting, living a healthy, happy, not just 2022 from now on. So having a good bedtime routine, dipping the lights, not using the phone, journaling to get out any things that are going on in your head, get them out, because that will help you to sleep as well. Having a bath, those sort of things, not eating too late. There's no correlation at all between having carbs at night time and you're going to put on weight. It's just basically eating too many.
I've read a lot of things about this, like you can do fasting within the day, you know, where they say you don't eat for 10 hours or whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
Might lose weight because you're fasting for 10 hours.
Yeah, you can do that, but I mean, essentially, you are fasting at night anyway. That is, you are fasting. If you eat your dinner, I don't know. Lots of people are different. I eat my dinner around 5:30, 5:45, because we eat as a family. Maybe you eat about 7 o'clock. But if you then don't eat your breakfast at 7 o'clock the following day, you fasted at night anyway. We naturally fast because you don't eat at night.
Yeah.
It's just don't eat too late, because then you know, your body is still obviously burning calories at night because it's still doing a lot of work at night, and we do all our growing and repairing at night. But you're not going to burn as many as you are during the day if you're moving. So it's thinking about what I'm going to be doing after eating to burn the calories, or am I eating a sensible choice food, and the quantities as well at night time.
I think I'm guilty of this. I bet other people might be like snacking in front of the TV at night, you know, even just fruit. But then it's quite hard. Then, you know, like someone, especially Christmas, like with the chocolate and things like that.
Yeah.
That's probably the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, I mean, fruit obviously is good for you, but it's all carbs and very sugar based. It's simple, you know. So if you want to eat fruit, I would suggest adding in some protein with it, because it slows the absorption of the carbs down. So you might have an apple and a bit of cheese, for instance. But again, question why you're eating at night when you're sitting in front of the television. You know, is there an actual need for it? And generally, if we're craving sugary, fatty foods, it's boredom. We're not actually hungry. So, you know, maybe you need to replace that with something else. You know, rather, maybe you're not engaged in what's on the television. You could do a Sudoku, have a bath. You know, something else. Maybe it's actually boredom. Or it's just learned behavior.
Yeah, I think that is it. My mum's quite good. My mum, you know, is always one of these who sit down in front of the TV and she'd have a biscuit or.
Yeah. So just you know, and you can work on those habits. Just be patient with yourself, because it takes on average 66 days to build a new habit. But you can work on those habits and break that cycle, and just spend some time in your brain thinking, why am I doing this? Let's work out what the root of the problem is. Why am I doing this? So then I can then introduce something else instead. So, I mean, it has been Christmas, and let's be honest, it's, you know, Christmas is lovely. We can indulge a little bit, can't we? But we do have to get back on it, unfortunately.
Good advice.
I've put here one of my next habits is surround yourself with people you can learn from. Surround yourself all the time with podcasts, with coaches, with Facebook groups, with people that you can learn from. And actually, emotionally, I haven't got a slide about the emotional guidance scale, but the emotional guidance scale is how we're feeling. We're all obviously vibrating at a very low frequency, and the emotional guidance scale is how you are vibrating The love emotion is right up the very top, and then fear and grief is right down the very bottom. And jealousy is sort of halfway up the emotional guidance scale. But we can use that again to our advantage. If you see people and you're slightly jealous of what they've achieved, how can you learn from them? Okay, what are they doing that I need to do? And because it's actually, there's a really good tool. There's actually, there's something there that you would like to implement as well in your life. So how have they got there?
Yeah.
So I think, surround yourself with people you can learn from. Again, if that's it could be if you're looking to lose weight, if you're looking to build a business, if you're looking to gain confidence, whatever you're trying to improve in your life, surround yourself with those people that you can learn from. And which kind of also leads me on to, when you ask people for opinions, ask people that are actually going to give you opinions because they've got evidence from it. Because actually, if you're asking for someone's opinion, they're only basing it on their experiences. So sometimes it's not that it's not valid, but actually it might not help you in that instance. So and again, self-development books. A great way. Again, I try to read a self-development book every day, just 10 minutes a day if I can. And there's so many different books out there that you can read, all about mindsets, all about habits, about nutrition, umpteen amounts of books that I could recommend. At the moment, I'm reading Ask and It Is Given. It's next to me, which I'm revisiting. Actually, I've read that twice, but that's all about the law of attraction. So again, read self-development books because that will help you to propel yourself forwards. What else did I say? Have a destination in mind and stick to it. Don't let anybody take you out your lane, whatever that is. Stick to that because actually everything's achievable. Just keep in your lane, whatever that is. Look at your end result. Where do you want to go, and then how am I going to get there? And one of the best ways of getting there is tricking your brain into thinking you're already there, because we can bring our desires into our existence so much easier if we think we're already there. And the great thing about the brain is it cannot tell the difference between what's real and what's make-believe. So if you can almost trick your brain into thinking you're already there, things like losing weight, if you can trick your brain to thinking you've already lost that 2 stone and you're fitting into whatever dress you want to fit in or whatever, it will come to you so much easier, which goes back a bit to that. If you're concentrating on the lack, your brain is just concentrating on the lack and you're attracting more of it. So get good at imaginative games. Do you remember when you were a child, when you were 3 or 4, your imagination was brilliant, wasn't it? And then as we get older, we just sort of think in that box, don't we? And the brain will try and talk you out of doing things as well, or achieving things, or tell you can't achieve it, because it's trying to keep you safe. That's naturally what we do. The ego tries to keep us safe. So it's actually, again, flipping that around and telling ourselves that actually, no, I'm not going to fail. What if I don't fail? What if I succeed? But our brains haven't evolved from the caveman times, and so we still live in that protection mode, and we still need that. Excuse me, but sometimes it doesn't serve us anymore. So, and which is where, when I talked about earlier about working on those beliefs and those blocks that might not be serving us, we all have beliefs from childhood trauma, conditionings that actually aren't our beliefs, but they're just keeping us stuck. And then I just the last thing I put is that you have infinite greatness inside of you, and let it out, let it go, because everybody, we all have massive opportunities in front of us, and it's just allow that to be, and see what comes to you. Again, as I said at the beginning, quietening your mind. Oh, I did mean to put on here meditation. Quietening your mind and allowing yourself to see the opportunities is so rewarding. I didn't say meditation, but I meant to say meditation. If you've never meditated before, it is a great way to just access your higher self, access your intuition, and it's called a meditation practice because it takes practice. That's why it's called that. But just start small, maybe a couple of minutes a day, making yourself comfortable, lying on your bed or sitting in the chair, and just concentrate on a noise that's in the room, and just bring yourself back to that noise every day, all the time. And it's not about clearing the thoughts in your mind, because we can't clear the thoughts in our mind, but it's allowing those thoughts to come in and then letting them go, and just allowing yourself to drop into your body and listen to yourself and listen to your intuition, because we have all the answers. We know exactly how to get there, but unfortunately we listen to everything else that's going on, all the influences, the outside influences, and sometimes we're too afraid then to do what's best for us. And we know what's best for us. Absolutely, you know what's best for your soul. It's just listening to yourself and not everybody else.
That's good advice. I'm sure that's really helpful. I've taken on so much just listening to you. Abby says she eats during the evening. She finds it hard to break this habit, especially after the habits of Christmas, and it might be down to boredom for her.
So if you did want to break the habit in the evening, instead of I mean, some people, to be fair, are all or nothing people, but if you did want to break the habit, break it down. So maybe think, well, I'm not going to snack in the evening on Tuesday, Thursdays, for instance. So just make it a little bit more achievable, and then you might do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. So just bring it in slowly, rather than saying, right, that's it, I'm not going to snack in the evening. And again, just why are you snacking in the evening? If you are hungry, then make sure you're eating the right things in the evening, rather than the chocolate box or the crisps. Just make sure you're eating something. And I'm not saying it's everything in moderation. Gosh, I love a dessert, and I will have a dessert in the evening, probably 2-3 times a week, but I'm not every night. So it's just it's making sure it's everything in moderation, because if we cut it out completely, you naturally want more. So it's a great way to break things down, or to build up to things. So for instance, if you wanted to start meditating, you think, wow, how am I going to fit that into my week? Maybe just start on a Monday and Friday. Just gradually incorporate these things into your week, slowly, and then before you know it, you'll be doing them every day, if that's what you want to. It depends what your non-negotiables are, what you want to do on a daily basis.
I like that idea. Abby said she loves the idea of breaking it down. She tends to do all or nothing, and then thinks about more food as a result. Every other night is great. Sounds good. My sister-in-law, she started doing is it MyFitnessPal?
Yeah.
She's just doing it Monday to Friday, and that's the work for her. And I think it works for her knowing that she's got the weekends off. So I think it's just knowing you've got the cheat days that you can have. And
when I was PTing, I always asked people to do a food diary, and I always asked them to include the weekend, or part of the week. But because what happens is everyone's good Monday to Friday, and they get to the end of the week and it's like, oh, stuff it, that's it, I'm going to have a blowout. And actually, then you almost make up all those calories that you've not eaten on Monday to Friday at the weekend.
Really?
So so you just got to be a bit careful, be a bit careful with that. It's okay to treat yourself, but maybe incorporate a bit more movement into your weekends, so that you're then burning it off, for instance. There was something else I was going to say. I've lost my train of thought about you saying about the weekends and cheats. it'll come back to me. I was gonna say something about I mean, things like MyFitnessPal are brilliant to get you started, and they give you an idea. If you're weighing your food, it gives you an idea of what a portion looks like. I'm not a fan of using them all the time because it's impractical, but it does give you a good baseline. It's important that you sort of change. It's important that you change your mindset, and you know, it's a lifestyle. But they are great as a starting point. All of those things are great as a starting point. But just be careful what is happening at the weekends compared to during the week, because you can undo all your good work. So
yeah. Someone said every other night. It's a good idea. If they cut it out completely, they get withdrawal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and again, what are you eating for? Is it? It's like, you know, we can have and I'm not saying it's an addiction. Don't get me wrong, but you can replace a need for something else with something else all the time. You know, you can be addicted to food, alcohol, drugs, sex, exercise, so many different things. But actually, what is that? Is that replacing? Is it actually you are bored in the evening? Is it that actually, you know, however long ago, 2 years ago, you had a thriving social life and you did a couple of activities in the evenings, but that hasn't come back yet for whatever reason? You know, what is going on there to make you want to eat, you know? Or is it just boredom, or is it, as I say, is it learned behavior? Sometimes we slip into these habits very, very easily, and it's, you know, it's the getting those neuroreceptors going in your brain. You know, you wouldn't dream of going out the door or going to bed without doing your teeth, because your brain knows that at that time I do my teeth, go to the toilet, go to bed. It's ingrained in you, so you would always do it. It's familiar to you. So in the evening, do you snack? Is that because it's familiar to you? It's like your comfort zone, and it's then retraining that brain that actually in the evening, when I sit down at 7 o'clock, 7:30, or whatever time you sit down, retraining the brain to think, no, this isn't the time that I snack. You know, this I'll do this instead. So or if you are snacking, as I say, just make sure you're eating sensibly before you go to bed.
Good advice. Really good advice. If anyone's got any more questions for Emma, please pop them in the comments. I really like things you said about the phones. I think that's something that's a trigger for me, and probably a bit of an addiction as well. You know, if I get something on my phone, I'm like instantly reading whatever the message was. It's quite something that I definitely think I need to work on. So I quite like this whole idea of your body, what's your mind, and everything sort of working in sync.
Yeah. With the phone as well, sometimes, you know, it's a really good idea to declutter that phone, get rid of all the apps that you're not using, unsubscribe to emails. And another great tip somebody gave me once actually was moving those apps around, because then you don't automatically, you know exactly where Facebook is, you know exactly where LinkedIn, you know exactly where, I don't know, I'm just trying to think of, I don't know, Etsy or whatever, you know, whatever it is. And so you automatically go to that. So it's quite a good idea to move those apps around. And then you can't automatically go to them as easily.
That's good idea.
I've not done that, but I have heard somebody else recommended that on a talk as well. And I've unsubscribed from apps and emails, and because it's just come back to what I was going to say. All those things they're cluttering up our brain. So it's a good idea to have a declutter every so often. Because it gets it frees up the brain. What I was going to say, it came back to me about your sister eating at the weekend, is that it's a willpower thing as well. And actually, if it's not a natural thing for you, if you are trying to I don't like the word go on a diet, because that conjures up restriction, and a diet is how we eat. It's not restriction. It's just been misused, basically. You know, you either get a Western diet, or maybe you're pescatarian, or but the brain, it takes energy to constantly be battling with our willpower. So in the morning, if we're making a decision whether we're going to have Frosties because we're sat with our 4 or 5 year old in the morning, or we're going to have egg on toast, you're already decide which one am I going to have, which one's going to be quicker, which one's going to be easy, which one am I craving. So as the day goes on, your brain gets tired of making those decisions. And it's exactly the same for the week. You get to the weekend and it's right, I'm going to reward myself because I've been good all week, or my brain can't do it anymore. So actually, if we take that decision making out of the equation, your brain doesn't need to battle with willpower anymore. So if it's practical and feasible, and I appreciate it might not be, taking those triggers away, they're not in the house, then actually that you haven't got to battle with that willpower anymore because they're not there. Yeah. So that's all using energy that you could be putting into something else.
That's good advice. Jo said, these are great tips, Emma. 6 months ago, she started Project Me. Work, life, and kids meant she wasn't spending any time on herself. She was stressed. The scales were increasing. She's now focusing on eating better, exercising, and getting more than 4 or 5 hours sleep. Cutting sugar out made such a difference. She's a lot less cravings. Committing to herself to make it happen was also key. Your phone tip is valid. She needs to do that, and meditation next on her to-do list. So actually, on meditation, if someone's not done meditation before, so I would be a complete novice. How would you get started on meditation?
Well, there's loads of apps and things on YouTube, which I can always put in the comments afterwards, which
good.
Because guided meditations often are the best, because all the time you're awake, your brain is whirring, isn't it? Your brain, I think on average, we think about 900 thoughts a day, something like that. It's a ridiculous amount of thoughts that we think a day. So to expect you to, I'm going to meditate now, I'm going to lie myself down and I'm not going to think about anything. It's not going to happen, is it? Realistically, it's not going to happen. You're going to be thinking about, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? Do I need to pick this person up? I need to ring this client. All these things are going to be going on. So I would suggest starting with a guided meditation, because it will give you a focus of what you're listening to, and there's loads of different guided meditations out there. You can have one to attract money into your life, to attract clients, to release fear, to connect with spirit guides. There are loads of meditations out there, but that's what I would suggest to start off with, is doing a guided meditation first, and then gradually the more you
doing those apps.
Yeah, there's an app. There's an app called, what's the app called? I can't remember. I can put it in the comments anyway. Like I said, there's an app called, I'm just trying to find it. Let's see, I can't find it on my phone. Insight Timer is an app. Aaron Doughty does some great meditations, which I can put those in the comments. But so that your mind will then focus on that, and then actually the more you meditate, the more you will be able to quieten your mind. So you want to be grounded. So you want to have your feet on the floor in a comfortable position. You want to, or lying down on the bed, or lying in the grass if the weather allows, or you can lie on wet grass, with the rain on you if you're that way inclined. I often put my hand on my heart because I can feel the connection of my heart. There's a massive connection between the heart and the brain. And then listen to the guided meditation, and it's about those thoughts that come into our head. Like I say, it's just allowing them to move through us, and the more you do it, the more you will access your intuition. So the more you will feel, everyone feels things differently, but the more you will, other thoughts will come into your head rather than everything that's going on around you, or the things you've got to do. It will be more your intuition talking to you, and you might get other thoughts in your head about, about doing this or doing this. And sometimes, you know, lots of people feel things in different ways. Some people feel like they're floating. Some people feel, you know, often you can feel heat on your third eye, in between your eyebrows. You know, it depends on how experienced you are with it, how you know, whether you're comfortable at the time, whether you're relaxed. But as I say, it's called a meditation practice because exactly that. Takes practice, but it's been done for years and years, hasn't it? And and it's a really good way of healing. And as I say, accessing our intuition, because so often we don't listen to that intuition. And from a very, very young age, we're almost put in a box and we have to fit in that box, don't we? And actually we don't need to fit in that box. You know, so just be patient with yourself. I definitely recommend a guided meditation to start you off.
We've had John said, I think he's given some guided meditation apps. So Unmind, Leaf Yard, Calm Insight Timer, Spotify, and Headspace.
Okay, brilliant. Oh yeah, so he said the one that I recommended. Yeah.
And then Abby has a question, which I can really relate to. I'm so pleased you asked this, Abby. So thank you. She's asked, do you have any advice on getting back to sleep during the night? She often wakes and then her mind goes into overdraft. Can meditation help with that?
Yeah, so meditation can help with that. So in the nighttime, often when we put if I wake up, if you take your mind back to your breathing rather than, because again, you wake up and your mind starts whirring. So concentrate on your breathing, and you can bring your hand to your heart and get that connection again with your heart. But really think about taking yourself back to the breathing, slowing the heart rate down. And there's different breathing techniques you can do. So you can, for instance, you can do box breathing, which is breathing in for 4, holding for 4, breathing out for 4. Slowing the heart rate down, you can breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 7, because that will naturally slow your heart rate. Down. Because what you find is if you wake up in the night and you can't go back to sleep, you then think, and it's easy for me to say, but try not to think about getting back to sleep, because actually all that then does is stop you from getting back to sleep, and you'll find that your heart rate starts speeding up because you're thinking, I'm going to be tired tomorrow. So take it back to the breathing. And sometimes having a journal or paper and pen next to you can help, because if things are going on in your head, it might just get them out, and then that will help you. It might be that you're waking up because there's things on your mind. If you're waking up, it does depend. There could be a correlation, and I don't know enough about this to really advise on this. But there is a correlation between waking up, falling into a deep sleep, and waking up and living a very flight or fright lifestyle. So getting quite stressed. So what is going on in your day to day that's making you quite stressed? So there's those things. Where the other thing, of course, is getting up as well, rather than lying there. Getting up and then moving your body again. Don't be tempted to go on the phone. You know, sometimes you see, I see it with friends on Facebook, being awake 3 hours. Well, no wonder. If you've taken to looking at your phone. So you could take to your phone and put some music on. There's obviously Headspace is an app you can use with some, or go onto YouTube and find some calming music. But get up and move your body a little bit, so that you try and induce sleep is another tip as well. So yeah, hopefully some of those ideas will help. The routine before going to bed is really, as I say, is really important. So try to make sure you have a routine in the evening. You're not going from 60 miles an hour to bed. It's really important that you slow your body down. Unwind. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. So how can people find out more? How would you work with clients one-to-one, and how can people find out more and connect with you?
Yeah, so generally I work with clients on a one-to-one basis. I do have a group coaching program as well, but which I do a bit of each. But my one-to-ones are more popular because people make the most transformation on a one-to-one basis. So I work with people for 3 or 6 months, and we meet every week either on Zoom or online, and I coach intuitively the client on achieving their goals, really, by changing their, as I say, by changing their mindsets, by changing their habits, addressing those beliefs and those blocks that might not be serving us anymore, and then helping them move forward. So as I say, a lot of things that keep us stuck are beliefs from our parents. We are still children of the war, because we've got the DNA in us from our grandparents, because we were in our mum's womb, they were in the womb of their grandparents, and so that all those things have been passed down. So actually, a lot of these beliefs just aren't serving us anymore. So I can help people from that point of view to release those blocks and those beliefs and change those beliefs. So I do one-to-ones, a group. I do restorative retreats, as I said when we were chatting at the beginning. I've got mine in 4 weeks' time, so in Portland and Dorset. So I'm really excited about that. And then I have a Facebook group as well, which obviously people can hang out with me in there.
What's it called?
Transform, motivate, empower, which is I put in there daily tools and tips and to help people, really. So those are the different ways to work with me. And it's very rewarding for the client and for me. I mean, I've gone on my own journey anyway. Obviously, I'm coached myself, because I think if you're encouraging people to invest in you, if you can't invest in yourself, then something not quite right there. So I'm coached myself, but it's I've gone on, and I'm still going on a massive journey of self-discovery over the past 6 to 8 months. A year ago, I was doing something. I was obviously PTing and health coaching. Was a very different position to I am now. So, and that's all really because I've spent that time on myself and understanding myself, actually. So, and working on myself, on my core values, on what's important to me, what I want to project out, what I want to get back. So, So,
brilliant. And it's EmmaWheeler.fitness, I think, isn't it, your website?
Yeah, that's my website. I don't use my website an awful lot. I use Facebook most of the time, actually. Most people connect with me on there, a little bit on LinkedIn, but predominantly Facebook, actually. So there is I have got a website, and there's obviously an email address there that you can connect with me. Yeah.
Brilliant. All right, well, we'll put some links in the comments. But thank you so much for your time, Emma. That session has been brilliant, and people have really enjoyed it. Thank you to everybody that's watched today on Facebook and on LinkedIn. I'll stick the replays up on LinkedIn and on Facebook. So if you missed any of the session, you can watch this. We just had John's just add to Emma's good suggestions. Having had this issue of night waking all his adult life, it's been recommended to him not to turn on the lights, as this affects melatonin levels. Sleep's often disrupted by, I can never pronounce this word, is it circadian rhythm, being out of whack?
Oh, yeah.
Some diagnosis of your pattern. It's working out some use of devices. Perhaps creating a routine can help. Setting a bedtime alarm to get that routine in place. When you get to bed, timing lights a couple of hours before bedtime. Brilliant. Yeah. That's really good advice. Thank you, John.
Yeah, he is absolutely right. And that's the reason why teenagers cannot get up in the morning and go to sleep late at night, because of their circadian rhythm is not matured enough yet. But he's absolutely right. And actually, an extension of what John's just said is that at the weekend, ideally, you should go to bed at the same time during the week and get up at the same time, or at least put your alarm on. And even if you want to have a more relaxing morning, reading in bed, or not getting up and out straight away. But when we, often we will go to bed late on the Friday, late on the Saturday. We're not tired Sunday night, and then you already start your Monday morning tired because you haven't been able to get to sleep. So in an ideal world, it is better to put your alarm on Saturdays and Sundays as well.
Right.
But I say that, but I do, you know, I do like a little sneaky extra half an hour in bed.
Yeah, that is the benefit of having kids. Like there's no life. It's like weekday, like there's what's weekend. So
well, yeah, most of mine are older now, and I'm having to drag them out of bed. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, brilliant. Thank you so much to everybody that's watching. We'll tag Emma in posts. So if you want to get in touch with Emma, then I'm sure she'll be able to help with any of the questions.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Emma, and thank you to everybody that's watched today. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.